Welcome to another night in the NBA. This is your 10-minute recap of the last night of NBA hoops. There were, I believe, 12 games on the schedule tonight. Very full night of NBA action. I was going to talk about the Rockets. I wanted them to be my main focus of the night because of how good Alperen Şengün has been. He's been phenomenal, and Dillon Brooks has been really good for them as well. They had a blowout victory tonight. But instead, I'm talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves because their win over the Celtics in overtime was too big to ignore. Just looking at the wins for the T-Wolves this season. They have beaten both teams that were in the finals last year, the Heat 106-90 and the Nuggets 110-89, and then they beat the team that most people believed are the best team in the league this year so far in the Boston Celtics tonight by 5 in overtime. They also beat the Jazz by almost 30 points. If you take out the second half to the Hawks, because in the first half they put up 80 points, it looks like another potential blowout, but they lose, choke it in the second half. If you take out that Hawks game, I think a lot of people would be arguing that the Minnesota Timberwolves are the best team in the NBA. But because of that collapse against the Hawks, I don't think people will quite argue that, but they should be talking about Minnesota because they have been phenomenal. They've been really good to start the year. After kind of an up and down season last year after acquiring Rudy Gobert, a lot of people are looking at them this year to potentially bounce back and kind of move up in the standings, make a real push forward, have an Anthony Edwards jump, and that looked like it was on full display tonight because Anthony Edwards finishes with 38 points and was super huge in this game, especially down the stretch, because 8 of his 38 points come in overtime. But let's take a look at some of the other performers from this game. We can talk about Ant a little more first, I guess. 38 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal for Anthony Edwards, who was a plus 18, really good in this game. Jaden McDaniels finishes with 20 points. I believe I saw something like he hit 7 of his last 9 shots. Kind of struggled to start this game, but was really good early on. Really good later on, sorry. Struggled to start, picked it up, and was huge down the stretch in regulation to take this game to overtime, and he easily plays the most minutes in this game, 45 minutes for Jaden McDaniels, because he is the kind of head of attack, point of attack defender. They're throwing him on Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown down the stretch of regulation, and he's causing them to miss shots. They can't really get past McDaniels because he's too long, he's too good defensively, and if the offense looks like it did in the fourth quarter tonight, all of a sudden you're looking at a much different player. Again, 20 points, 4 of 9 from 3, and I just loved what I saw from Jaden McDaniels. Looked like a true kind of star pairing alongside him and Anthony Edwards. Both were really good. Mike Conley only finishes with 8 points and only 3 assists, but his impact was felt down the stretch of this game. It felt like every shot he hit was a huge one. They get 40 points from Rudy Gobert, who was a plus 24. The biggest positive in terms of plus minus for the Timberwolves on the game was Rudy G, who has 14 points, 12 rebounds, 1 block, and 6 of 6 from the field, a perfect 100%. The 2 of 11 he shot from the free throw line is kind of hilariously bad, but, positive game for Rudy nonetheless. And Karl-Anthony Towns was not good in this game. 7 points, 3 of 10 from the field, fouls out in overtime, and has 7 turnovers. Towns was trying to take the T-Wolves down in this game by himself, but couldn't do it because they're too good. Naz Reid, also 14 points, has been really good off the bench for this team, but I think the Minnesota Timberwolves start to the season and how good they've been cannot be overstated because they held the best offense in the league, the Boston Celtics, to only 109 points, and they win 114-109 in overtime. They only put up 101 in regulation. Boston does. Great defensive job from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels are both phenomenal defenders on the wing, and Rudy Gobert is still one of the best interior defenders in the entire league. That, it's late at night here, the speaking isn't great, but I'm just that enthusiastic over how good the Timberwolves have been to start the year, because it's hard to believe how good they've been. They take down the Nuggets, they take down the Celtics, they take down Miami. I know Jimmy didn't play in that game. Jimmy never plays against Minnesota pretty much since he left there. But the Timberwolves are really making a statement, and they're putting the league on notice with these big wins to start the year, how good they've looked. But let's take a look at some of the good performers for Boston in this game as well. They get 32 points from Jayson Tatum, as well as 5 steals from JT in this game. They get 20 from Porzingis. They get 26 from Jaylen Brown, but still no Derek White is the big thing in this game. Al Horford has to start in place of Derek White and only has 3 points. So obviously Derek White was missed and would have really helped them in this game, but Minnesota takes what is in front of them and ends the Celtics' undefeated season, ended the Nuggets' undefeated start to the season as well, and now there are no more undefeated teams in the NBA, thanks to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who take down, I would say, both of the top 2 teams in the league, and Minnesota is making their claim as one of the top teams in the league as well. Anthony Edwards looks like a star. Jaden McDaniels is one of the best two-way players in the entire league. And Rudy Gobert, I think, is better than he was last year. So the Timberwolves putting the league on notice. But now let's shoot around the rest of the NBA, take a look at the other scores, and see what happened in this night of NBA action. So, looking at other action from around the NBA, we had 11 other games tonight. It was a very busy schedule of NBA action, but I want to start us off with the Rockets, because like I said, I thought about making the Rockets the main topic of today's video because they were that good, and the Rockets have looked good to start the year. They moved to 3-3 with their second straight win over the Sacramento Kings. I know the Kings don't have De'Aaron Fox, and it's clear that they miss him, but Alperen Sengun in this game with 17 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds was kind of called like the third guy in terms of the passing center archetype. It was Jokic, it was Sabonis, and then it was Alperen Sengun, but Sengun kind of embarrasses Sabonis in this game, who finishes with 8 points and is a -24. Sengun looked like the better big man already, and he's really breaking out with Houston this year. They get 23 from Jalen Green in one of his best games of the season so far. Dylan Brooks kind of quieter in this one, only 9 points, but was a +34. Fred VanVleet with 11, Jabari Smith Jr. with 13, but the Rockets win handily over the Kings to move to 500. Then let's talk about the Nets game. The Bucks beat the Nets 129-125, but Cam Thomas finishes this game with 45 points, continues to put on a real case as an all-star this season. Cam Thomas, who started like 2 or 3 games all of last season, it might have been 3 or 4, but it was super low. Cam Thomas hasn't been given opportunities, and then in his third year he's getting a real chance and he's making the most of it. Finishes with 45 points, and I really think he could make the All-Star game this season. He's the Nets' best player and is almost taking down really good teams by himself. Warriors take down the Pistons 120-109 behind 34 points from Steph Curry, and Killian Hayes plays the best game of his life for the Pistons, it feels like, with 21 points and 7 assists. There was one time I checked into this game in like the fourth quarter, and Killian Hayes had a true shooting percentage of 107%. It was insane. The Pacers blow out the Spurs 152-111 behind 23 points and 8 assists from Tyrese Halliburton, but basically everyone was shooting the ball well for Indiana, and the Spurs just couldn't stop anyone. Despite having Wemby, the defense just wasn't good. The Mavs take down the Magic 117-102 behind 29 points and 6 assists from Luka Doncic. A lot of people thought the Magic might win this game. They've looked really good to start the year, but the Mavs move to 6-1 and make their case as one of the best teams in the West. The 76ers beat the Wizards 146-128 behind Joel Embiid 48 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. He had 29 points in a single quarter tonight. The Heat beat the Lakers 108-101, 22 points and 20 rebounds from Bam Adebayo to go with 10 assists as well. One of the best games of Bam's career and one of the best games that I've seen in a while from a big man. in terms of the passing, the rebounding, the scoring, was just doing a bit of everything. And then Austin Reeves finishes 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Anthony Davis couldn't play the second half. The Heat take advantage and shut the Lakers down the stretch to seal the victory. The Knicks beat the Clippers in James Harden's debut, 111-97, 26 points and 6 rebounds from RJ. None of the Clippers starters hit 20 points, I'm pretty sure. The Bulls beat the Jazz 130-113, behind 21 points and 4 steals from DeMar DeRozan. Lauri Markkanen can't beat the Bulls in kind of a homecoming game, although he does have 29 points. The Thunder beat the Hawks 126-117. Shea was back tonight from injury and finishes with 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists to end the Hawks' 4-game win streak. And then the Nuggets take down the Pelicans 134-116, behind 35 points, 14 rebounds, and 12 assists from Nikola Jokic. They were down at the half. It looked like the Pelicans were going to win this game. And shout out to the rookie Jordan Hawkins, who finishes with 31 points and 7 rebounds. What a game from Jordan Hawkins, who was just phenomenal. Rookie lottery pick for the Pelicans, and I mean, I can't say anything better. He was the best player for the Pelicans in this game, despite Zion and Brandon Ingram playing. But as we always do here on the Another Night in the NBA show, I guess you want to call it, we're going to move into the last segment, which is the top 5 players of the night, according to the Real Sports app. I want to showcase who the best performers were on every given night of NBA action. Starting off at number 1, we have Joel Embiid, who finishes with 48 points, 11 rebounds, and shoots 68% from the field. At number 2, we have Nikola Jokic with 35 points, 14 rebounds, and 12 assists. Anthony Edwards at 3 with 38 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Cam Thomas at number 4 with 45 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 made threes. And then Bam Adebayo finishes with 22 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists. And once again, shout out the Rook, didn't make the top 5, but Jordan Hawkins finishes at 6 with his 31 points and 7 made threes. But that'll do it for this night in the NBA, another night in the NBA. Thanks for watching. I'm on the road to 12,000 subscribers, so if you like the daily recaps, subscribe down below. But once again, thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.